Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Cardellichio. I am your co-host for Momentum Monday. We are live on Facebook. I am here with my co-host, Jen Garrett, leadership expert, author, and attorney. Jen, how are you today?
Good morning, Dan. It's great to be here and ready to get some momentum going on this wonderful Monday morning.
It's beautiful. What is that behind you, Jen?
Oh, yes, I forgot it was behind me. Yeah, so I'm having doing a little bit of changing it up in my house. So I've got a painter that has been here the last few days. So he's got the scaffolding in my house. I have 24-foot ceilings in my house, so he had to get out the big equipment
You got to get out
to
the
do
big
some
equipment to get up
painting.
there and to
Yeah.
paint the ceilings and the walls and all of that. So it's all good. Welcome again to Momentum Monday. Let's discuss first about the charity that you're running right now in the 8 cities. Let's do that first. What's going on with that?
Yes. So if you haven't heard from a prior show, or just a reminder if you have, we are doing it's called We Care, which stands for Women Empowered Care. And it is an initiative to really try to make a positive impact this month for women and children, primarily who are victims of domestic violence in 8 different cities. We are partnering with shelters in Atlanta, Jacksonville, Chicago, Houston, Dallas, Minneapolis, LA and Orange County, and then San Francisco and the greater Bay Area to really try to raise money to be able to provide these women and children with some much needed care items during this holiday season.
So we want all of our listeners out there to share it, and no donation is too small. So it's the season of giving. Let's help out. This is a very important cause, and we'll put in the website and so forth where everybody can go. They can share it and they can donate it. So Move the Ball, bestseller by leadership expert and attorney and author Jen Garrett. Jen, let's talk about dropping the dead weight today. Wow, this is an important topic. This is a very important topic because if you don't drop the dead weight, sometimes no matter how motivated you are on Monday from our talks, it could be a downer and it could be very difficult, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's very important to have the right people on your team who you've surrounded yourself with, whether it's in person or remotely in this environment. The people that you are interacting with have to be people that are going to keep you uplifted, keep pushing you, keep challenging you. And so you have to drop the dead weight, as I call it in the book, and get rid of those people that are detrimental, that are not helping you to be productive.
Yeah, this is extremely important. And I remember growing up, and as you're, making your way through the world, one of the books I was reading back then would say, and a lot of them were saying, geez, it could be your family and your friends that could be the ones that are the closest to you, right? Can be the
Yes.
ones that are not in your corner. And that becomes difficult. Jen, what do we do at that point?
Yeah, so there are two types of people that I want you to bucket your friends, your family members in. As you're going through goals, there are some people, well, there's three buckets. So there's the people that are in your corner, the ones that you are excited to share your goals with, right? Those are the people that are on the team that are going to help you to move the ball. Then you have two other buckets. You have some people that are so toxic that you just need to rid them. It's time to sever those ties. And I think it's interesting because as we're going through this pandemic, this has really brought, and everything else that's going on in the world, this has really brought out the worst in some people. You see it
Yes.
in their posts on social media and just the negative energy that they put
Right.
out there. And so I would encourage you to think about, are those the people that you really want to have in your circle? Now, sometimes, I mean, people get frustrated. So maybe sometimes it's somebody's just expressing, their frustration in a particular moment, but they're normally not that type of person. Okay,
Right.
maybe you don't need to get to them, right? But there may be some people, it's just time. They're the negative Nancy's. They're not, you don't see a long-term benefit in
Right.
continuing that interaction, and it's time to sever those ties. The third bucket is people that you want to keep around, but they're not necessarily helpful for a particular goal. So
Right.
maybe, for example, I'll give you an example. So when I was looking to leave the corporate space and go on the entrepreneurial journey, there were a number of people that were like, oh, what are you doing? What about your kids? That's too risky. And so those were people that I valued their friendships, and they meant well in their comments, right?
Mhm.
So they weren't people that they just didn't want to see you fail, or have to go through pain and headache and heartache.
Mhm.
So their intentions were good, but they were not helpful for me to get ready to go on my journey. So those people I kind of just pushed to the sideline, right? And so I didn't remove them from my life, but I really surrounded myself with the people that were going to help me figure out, okay, what were the things that I needed to learn? Because it's very
Right.
different being an entrepreneur than being a corporate employee.
Right.
And one is not better than the other, but it's a different way of thinking. It's different actions that you do. And you want to make sure you have the right people on the team. So as you're looking at your goals, you want to have people that are you want to surround yourself with people that are going to help you for those particular
Mhm.
goals. And then you bench the rest, put them on the sideline, and sometimes you remove them completely because it's time. They're just negative, they're detrimental, and they're not going to help you.
And they're just not going to be there for you. And you want to be
Correct.
there for them in addition to help them with their goals, right?
Absolutely.
It's
Yes.
not, it's just not a one-way street. And I want all of our
True.
listeners to realize that this is not a one-way street. This is not something where it's just about you. It's just about you. It's about the other individual also. Now, I have a question for both of us. It's a loaded question, and I'm just thinking of it right now. And you know me when it comes to my loaded questions. And we don't have to mention any names or any particulars, but Jen, who did you have to drop as a friend? What happened? What was the situation?
Yeah, I'll give you. It's a great. I mean, there's a number of examples that I can think of. I'll give you two. I'm going to give you one where I completely removed the person from my life. Another one is when I just kind of put someone on the sideline. So
Mhm.
we'll start with the removal. So I was in a relationship for many years with a gentleman. We will not name names, but
They will remain nameless at this point.
yes, yes, out of respect, we will remain nameless for that person. But it was such a toxic environment. The person was true textbook narcissist. People use that term loosely to
Right.
characterize people, and true textbook. I'd never experienced that before. It was 3 years of drama, roller coaster every day, walking on eggshells, fighting all the time. And I finally was like, okay, enough is it. And it's tough too. And I'm sure that there might be someone listening that might be experiencing this. And so you're in this emotional cycle, right?
Mhm.
So, and you have this kind of dependency on this environment, not from a financial standpoint, but just an emotional
Mhm.
dependency. And so it was a tougher thing to break. But when I did, it was so liberating. Maybe it's too strong a word, but I
Right.
mean, you just let go of all this drama. And I was actually pregnant with his daughter when I chose to exit the relationship, and I had
Wow.
friends.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean,
That
it was
takes
just too much.
that
Yeah.
takes you have to have a lot of confidence in yourself in order to
Yes.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had friends that were like, "I'm so sorry that you have to go through this pregnancy, by yourself." And I'm like, "No, no, no." I'm like, "Don't be. This is so much better than the day to day that I went through.
Right.
I would have rather gone through a pregnancy alone than have stayed in that environment." So that's
Right.
more of an extreme, but I mean, there are people that live in those toxic relationships. And so you have to have the courage to be like, "You know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I deserve better, and I'm going
Right.
to exit that." So that's one. I'd say another example is when I was in college, in undergrad. I had my kids really young. So I was 18 when I had my
Mhm.
first son. I was already in college because I was 16 when I graduated high school. So I was already in college, but I had a son and a daughter, both while I was in school. And I remember one of my really close friends was like, yeah, I don't think you're going to finish college because unfortunately, I mean, there are single parents that do not, right? And so I was devastated by his comment because it was hurtful that my friend didn't think that I was going to finish school. So I didn't get rid of him. I mean, we're still friends, but I kind of just said, okay, I'm going to put you on the sideline. I mean, I didn't think of it in that term at that moment, but it was like, whatever, dude, I'm going to keep doing me, And then when I graduated, he apologized for what he said, but he wasn't trying to be hurtful or mean. I mean, he was just speaking his opinion. And,
Right.
and so I think it's important when we have people that are honest with us and share, they're entitled to their opinion,
They
right?
are entitled to their opinion. They could be wrong in
Right.
their opinion. They could be wrong,
Right.
but you had to figure out where this individual fits right now in your life so that you can move forward and you can move the ball.
Correct.
When I graduated chiropractic school, there were a bunch of friends that were still in kind of school party mode all the time. And I didn't party much in chiropractic school, if at all. I was paying for my own education. I was out on my own. I was out on my own for a long time at that particular juncture, and so I was working. I was working. I was doing what I needed to do. I was moving the ball every single day, every second of the day. And my father would laugh. He goes, "Wow, you have every second of the day planned out pretty much." And I said, "Yes, I do." But when we got out, there were those that were still in school mode, and there was those that were part of that population, if you will. Now I sound like a scientist, that are to this day that are like this. And I, we dropped them because of you know, again, the negative Nancy's, and they were just
Mhm.
so negative, and they would say, "Oh, I can't believe your practice is doing well enough. I can't believe that because you were brought up in Newark, New Jersey," like one of them said to me. And this one would
Mhm.
say something else. And you would sit there and you would go, it's meaningless. It's
Mhm.
really meaningless. It's meaningless. I mean, it wasn't even a comment of, how can I say it? It wasn't even a comment that they were just, expressing. It seems like they were, upset, perhaps jealous, or whatever the case may be. And I think jealousy does come into play with a lot of these individuals that you need to drop out of your life. So at some point in time, this individual, along with several others, we had to drop, myself and others, because you're running a business, you're being an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
If this is what you want to do, you have to move the ball every single moment of every day. And you really can't have that negativity coming in, nor do you have the time, right, Jen, to even sit there
Absolutely.
sometimes and talk to these people.
Right. And that's the thing too. I mean, we've all heard the quote, you are the average of the five people that you surround yourself with,
Right.
right? And so if one of those five, and it's not literally five, but if one of those few
Mhm.
around you is a toxic or a negative Nancy, just think about the energy suck that takes away from you having to listen to what they're putting out and just those negative vibes. It does have an effect on you. And then it reduces your productivity, it puts you in a worse mood, right? And so
Right.
now I do want to say that a couple things. One, it's important that sometimes people are being negative because they're in pain and they're hurting. So don't just
Right.
necessarily be like, oh well, you know what? I was watching this Momentum Monday and Jen said to remove negativity and Sarah's being negative. So you're out, Sarah. Like maybe there's a reason why. If
Right.
Sarah's not normally that way and she's become that way, maybe there's something else going on. So don't just remove, listen, ask questions, understand what's going on because maybe there's something there, especially in this time with all this craziness of 2020. You never know. She could be struggling with something.
Right. And during this time in 2020, people are a little bit more anxiety ridden, people are a little bit more depressed. And even the friend that we had to drop, we were trying to help some of these individuals get their own practices,
Mhm.
you know, guiding them, being a mentor. and being a friend, trying to help them. And one of them actually went as far as signing a lease, but then it ended at that point. But we were trying to motivate them, and we were trying to get them to move the ball. Again, it's not what, I think that's great what you said. You have to look at the situation. What's that individual going through? Of course, you want to be a friend. However, when all else fails, sometimes you have to drop the dead weight.
Yeah, and I think one other thing that's important to mention is we all have diverse perspectives. That's the
Mhm.
beauty of having people with different
Right.
backgrounds, whether it be cultural or educational or work
Hmm.
experience. When someone disagrees with you on something that you're doing, that doesn't necessarily mean you drop them. Maybe they have valid input, so it's worth having a healthy exchange, right? A
Correct.
debate. So don't just, I don't like to surround myself with yes people. Like, I don't want people that are going to just tell me yes. Yeah, Jen, that's a
Right.
great idea. I have people that were debating different things to help move the ball forward, and it's done in a respectful way. So those people are
Right.
not dead weight. So I just wanted to qualify that, because you're not looking
Absolutely.
for people that are going to just go with the flow, right, and support you. You want people that are going to challenge your
You
thinking
want people that are going to
also.
challenge you. And I
Yes.
think I think the best quote, I'm looking at the book right now, Move the Ball, and Coach's Rule. Do not let others pessimism, and I think that's the important word.
Yes.
Pessimism drag you down. Keep your eyes downfield and move the ball. I think that's the important quote for this conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, Jen, we're together every Monday. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm in your inner circle. Maybe you're in my inner circle. Jeez, I don't know. I'm not a pessimistic type of a person. I always like to push my friends, and I want them to push me also. So we're almost done in time here. Tell me, is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of this subject matter? Because I think it's important.
Yeah, I would say I'm going to challenge people to start taking an inventory of who are the people that are around you. And so here's the thing too, like, you can have different people in the inner circle for different goals, right? So write down, we've talked before about people writing goals down for the rest of the year, right? And
Mhm.
even as you go into 21, what are your goals? But then do an inventory of the people around you and put them in the various buckets. Okay, this person, is a great person to be on my team for goal one, but they're going to be on the sideline for goal two, right? So it really is important to, we all know the value of time. I think there's
Mhm.
been an increased focus on how, once you spend time, you can't get it back. We see people posting about it. So people are being more mindful of how they're spending time. So think about these people that are in your circle, do an inventory, see what categories you want to stick them in, and then allocate your time with those people appropriately, depending on where they fall in your inventory exercise, if you will.
I like that, the inventory exercise. And I think that, to even take it a step further, if you're an entrepreneur, take an inventory of those that are around you, take an inventory of your business, what's working, what's not working.
Yes.
If you have a marketing plan or an advertising plan, whatever that is, as an entrepreneur, take a take this inventory and see what it is you need to do better. We still have 6 weeks left in 2020. Don't waste them, right, Jen? Don't
Right.
waste them.
Yeah.
It's still time to move the ball. One of the partners, and he moves the ball every single day. But he said to me a couple of weeks ago, he goes, the holidays are coming around, and you kick back a little bit. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and he goes, what? Because we're Italian American. Whoa. So I looked at him and I said, now's the time, as you very well know, that I move the ball. And I said those words, I move the ball.
Yay.
Okay. I move the ball more now, because we still have 2 months left in 2020. And 2020 hit us with a curveball. I hit the curveball, and I'm going to hit it back. So, Move the Ball is the book. Bestseller. Please go out and get it. Jen Garrett. Jen, where can we purchase the book?
You can get it on Amazon. It's available in paperback, like you're holding up, as well as in ebook for those ebook readers. And then there's an audiobook version that you can get through Amazon, through iTunes, as well through the Audible platform too.
And tell us about We Care. Where can we go to make a donation?
Yes, we care. We have GoFundMe links for each of the 8 cities that I mentioned earlier. You can access all of those links at powerandimpact.com. So you go on the website, all the links are there. You just click your city of choice. It'll take you to the GoFundMe page, and then you can read about the shelter that we've partnered with, or shelters that we're partnering with in those areas.
Excellent. Powerandimpact.com. Jen, thank you very much again. I hope that the painting gets done sooner than later.
I'm looking forward to it. It's looking quite nice. So I'm really excited about wrapping it up here soon. But I like adding new colors. I don't do it very often. And so I've been in this house for 3.5 years, have not added any new colors since I did the bedrooms when we first moved in, but that was it. So I'm kind of,
It's time to change it up a little bit.
It's time to change it up. Yes,
it's time to
absolutely.
change it up. So I want to thank everybody out there for listening to us on Momentum Monday, every Monday around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to thank everybody. Listen, put in the comment section. If you have any topic that you want Jen and I to discuss, be more than happy to do it. Be an active participant. We want to hear from you. Jen, thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure again to be here on this fine Monday morning, and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next week. Until then, move the ball. Thank you, everybody.